Is Minister Malusi Gigaba. Joining us from the Waterkloof Airforce Base outside Pretoria is the spokesperson for the President, Khusela Diko. Khusela, thank you for being with us. Is the President very relieved that he does not have to fire the Minister?
Good evening, Francis, and thank you so much for having us on the program. I wouldn't necessarily use the words relieved. I think that the President has a lot of faith in his cabinet. That cabinet is composed of a lot of strong and very capable men and women. And when you lose one of them in the instance of Minister Malusi Gigaba, it is obviously a setback. However, the President has accepted his resignation. He has accepted the reasons that the Minister has set out and has thanked Minister Gigaba for his long-standing commitment and dedication to the government and the people of South Africa.
Did the President or other ANC or government officials encourage him to resign? Say, you will be fired?
No, Minister Gigaba has not been encouraged to resign. The Minister submitted his letter of resignation of his own volition. I think that you will remember, Francis, that he had a meeting at his request with the President last week Friday, at which meeting Minister Gigaba would have taken the President into confidence on the issues that were in the public domain that concerned the conduct and the role of the Minister in a number of affairs. Coming from that meeting, the Minister has then subsequently submitted his letters of resignation. That is the fact that we are dealing with, and we are very cautious of seeking to speculate beyond those particular facts as presented.
It was reported that Malusi Gigaba was in fact fighting for his job, trying to convince the President that he had done, not lied in the Fireblade saga. That does suggest, agree with me or not, that the President did not take that explanation and did not believe him.
Well, Francis, the meeting between the President and Minister Gigaba was a private meeting, and for that reason we respect the discussions that would have taken place there and its outcomes. But what we do want to say, as it relates to Minister Gigaba and any allegations, is that what we have on record is the letter that the Minister has submitted. In that letter, he makes it very clear that he is resigning for the sake of the country. He's resigning for the sake of the movement to which he belongs. He says that he does not want to place the President under any undue pressure, having to constantly respond to issues as it relates to what may be seen as his conduct in the various issues that you speak of. The Minister has also said that it is not an admission of guilt on his part, and he will continue to serve the Republic in any way that his movement or government would see fit. So at this point, we do not have any facts on hand that indicate that Minister Gigaba at any point has admitted any guilt to any issues, or that the President would have pushed Minister Gigaba. We have a letter of resignation that the President has received and has accepted.
Khusela, earlier on you said that the President has faith in his cabinet. Many would argue that given Malusi Gigaba's track record, even his performance previously as Home Affairs Minister, he should never have been appointed. Can you tell us why the President believed in this minister, given all the claims against him that have been piling up for years? Let's be honest.
Well, I think that was the subject of the court case that the Democratic Alliance would have brought, wanting the President to provide reasons as to why Minister Gigaba as well as Minister Dlamini should not have been returned to Cabinet. It is now a moot point, except to say that Minister Gigaba has served the government and the people of South Africa for many years, since 2004, as Deputy Minister and then Minister in various portfolios, including public enterprises, finance. When the President exercised his prerogative to appoint Minister Gigaba into his new cabinet earlier on this year, he had full confidence in Minister Gigaba. The issues that have now arisen that have led the minister to submit his resignation, I think those are issues that the minister can well ventilate on. The President has accepted his resignation, and I think as far as that particular issue, the President will submit to the Public Protector a report as required by her report. Will submit to her as required by her report to say that the Minister Gigaba has resigned, and he will submit the same to the Speaker of Parliament as per the Public Protector's report.
Why didn't the President demand his resignation as soon as the courts found that Minister Malusi Gigaba lied?
I think, Francis, you're wanting us to speculate and get into a realm really that, is difficult to answer. Right now, we have a resignation from the minister, which I think achieves the objectives that would have perhaps be behind the question that why did he not want him to resign? Why did he not fire him? Why did he not do all of those sort of things? Minister Gigaba has resigned now from cabinet, and I think what we need to be looking forward to is Minister Blade Nzimande. Dr. Blade Nzimande has been appointed as Minister of Home Affairs. He will carry forward diligently the work of that particular portfolio, and the President will give an indication whether indeed he aims to fill the vacancies that have been created by the sad passing of Mayor Edna Molewa in Environmental Affairs, as well as this resignation of Minister Gigaba. I just want to make a point that, the President, regardless of what would have happened with Minister Gigaba today, whether he had resigned or not, the President remains committed to us upholding the rule of law, ensuring that we continue to promote and protect the values of the Constitution, and ensuring that indeed members of the executive live up to the executive ethics code. It would be unfortunate, though, for us to seek to speculate what action would he have taken had Minister Gigaba not resigned. But those are the values that the President holds dear, and we have no doubt he would have acted in line with those particular values.
Khusela, however, you haven't really given us strong answers to why the President didn't demand his resignation earlier, as to how these things play out. And the President himself has often said there's a new dawn, a new era, a zero tolerance for corruption. But it doesn't seem like things have changed, looking at how this played out.
It would be an unfortunate conclusion, Francis, to say that nothing has changed. The President is on record speaking to the extent to which he is committed to ensure that we root out the scourge of corruption in our public institutions, ensuring that, amongst others, the Zondo Commission is able to undertake its work unhindered. The various inquiries that we have put in, amongst others, in the PIC, into tax administration and governance at the South African Revenue Services. I think we need to appreciate that we must allow process to unfold. Now, there was a particular process that would have led to the resignation of Minister Gigaba. Unfortunately, the President would not be in a position to run cabinet and to run the work of governance, through wanting quick action on all of the things when there are processes that are able to take care of it. So I think let's look at what has been achieved. There has been a great many strides that have been made since the President came in February, and those are the gains that we are planning to build on. It is a process. The Zondo Commission, for example, must be allowed to complete its work. We as a Presidency would have taken a decision that we're not giving running commentary on those issues, because we must allow the process to be concluded and for us to get the recommendations which will determine the way forward. It's no different in this particular case. Minister Gigaba would have been found guilty of having violated the Executive Ethics Code by the report of the Public Protector in the court before that, and that is a process in itself which must be allowed to unfold as it has.
All right, I thought that it was the President's prerogative to hire and fire, but that's your explanation. Thank you for your time this evening. That was the President's spokesperson, Khusela Diko.